Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the CxG podcast. And this is episode 7. And as promised, we are back faster than probably any other time. But today I'm here, of course, with my co host, Josh. Josh, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Joe. Thanks for asking.
All right, so we are smack dab in the middle of E3, but all of the E3 major press conferences are over, so we are here to give you our impressions on the major press conferences of E3. So I guess we'll just start with the two smaller ones, Ubisoft and EA, and move to the bigger ones after that.
Perfect.
Okay, so let's hop into Ubisoft. So, did you see Ubisoft's press conference?
I did. I caught most of it, um, and I was really impressed with Ubisoft. They're quickly becoming one of my favorite developer publishers. I'm a big fan of the Assassin's Creed games. Obviously, I think they're great. I know a lot of people complain about Assassin's Creed, about the rate at which they come out, but I think each game does something new and fresh enough to make the overall series really compelling, and especially in terms of a story. I really enjoyed all the single player campaigns and the gameplay aspects. I love the Rayman games. I enjoyed Driver, Child of Light. I mean, the list goes on for Ubisoft. I really enjoying Watch Dogs right now. I think that's a fantastic new IP. And Ubisoft came in and showed a new Assassin's Creed Unity, which I thought looked really beautiful. The animation, the climbing, combat, everything looked really buttery smooth. What did you think of the new Assassin's Creed games, and how do you feel about Ubisoft?
The new Assassin's Creed looks really good. I thought, like, it really looks like something that couldn't be on a previous console. Like, unlike some of the other recent games that have been coming out, like, I mean, even something like Watch Dogs, it doesn't have that kind of real next gen appearance. You know what I mean? Like the something that you feel like, oh, this couldn't be done on the previous consoles. It actually, the PS4 version kind of just feels like an updated version of the 360 version. So this game, it's though doesn't look like something that could happen on the 360. It looks like something totally different. Like it looks like something really bringing us forward. And overall, I think Ubisoft is a pretty good company. I know you're right, though. I think a lot of people do hate on them because it's the kind of hate du jour, I guess.
Yeah,
Ubisoft
yeah,
has that kind of image, like, oh, they're just milking their franchises or whatever, and they kind of are milking Assassin's Creed. But the thing is that um, it's not like any of those Assassin's Creed games have been horrible cash-ins. They've all been like moving the series forward, and they all do something new, and they all do something interesting. And I haven't disliked any of them. So I feel like even if they're milking it, they're doing it in a way that's actually good.
yeah. And to be honest, on that Assassin's Creed topic, I'd say three-quarters of the time that I've heard people bitching about that series, I'll say, "Oh, well, which game turned you off?" Well, I haven't played one since the first, or I played the second one, but after that, they all just, they haven't even played this series. They haven't taken in the entire story arc. They just are. It's almost like Ubisoft is like kind of cool to hate on them, like kind of like EA was a year back or so, or still to this day, where it's kind of like the bandwagon jump on it and talk shit about Assassin's Creed or some of the other stuff they've done. Even Far Cry 3, I think they did a fantastic job on that. In my opinion, it's not. I don't see any reason to hate on Ubisoft at all. And like you said, it does look like a real next generation title. Watch Dogs, I agree with you. Parts of that game look completely next generation. Some of the smoke effects and some of the water, and sometimes you'll look at that game and you'll be like, "Wow, this looks great," and then other times it looks like a PS3 or 360 game. So it's a real mixed bag. Where this new Assassin's Creed, you would not mistake it for a 360 or PS3 game, that's for sure.
So, besides Assassin's Creed, which I knew you were going to be excited about, anything else from Ubisoft that looked good to you?
Yeah, I think that Far Cry 4 looks really interesting. I think that villain is really cool, man. He's just got that subtle, almost like Gus from Breaking Bad, just where his presence and the way he delivers his lines. He doesn't have to be screaming and full of rage to deliver. You just know that he's a sick fuck. He's a twisted guy, and I thought that looked really cool. Far Cry 4, and also the crew. I know you're not into racing games, but man, that looks really good with being able to drive all over uh, freely, and the sense of speed looked great, and just that really looks interesting to me.
Man, Josh, you're killing me here with these. Uh, yeah, the crew. I'm sure it would be fun if you like racing games, but and the same goes for Far Cry 4. If you like shooters, it's probably fun. But for me, my two least favorite genres, racing and shooters. It's like no interest in those games.
Yeah. Far Cry though, man, yeah, it's a shooter. You do a lot of shooting, but there's so much more to that than just being a shooter. There's a lot of stuff to do, and the open world was handled really well. Obviously Far Cry 4 won't do much to sway, but just to label it a shooter is kind of a disservice to the game. But I see what you mean. I know your taste in games, and I know where you're coming from. So yeah, I get it.
For me, I think I was pretty interested in the Valiant Hearts, that kind of World War I puzzle adventure game.
Yeah, yep.
I think that looked pretty cool. I think that was a another one of those kind of examples of something that Ubisoft does that is a little different from other companies like EA, who we'll talk about next. They do things that are a little different. They kind of at least try to experiment with new things, like Child of Light, which we mentioned, and even stuff like Zombie U, or here's Valiant Hearts, or the Rayman games, the recent ones. Those are things that like people aren't really doing anymore or aren't giving a chance to, and I think Ubisoft is doing that, and I think
Yeah,
that's kind of interesting to me.
definitely, and all very high quality. It's high quality stuff, and they're doing a good job, man. They're doing a good job of covering a lot of genres, and I'm really looking forward to Ubisoft's future. You know,
Yeah, it's looking all right. I think like I know you like them more than I do, but I wouldn't say I dislike Ubisoft in any way. I think they put out some good games.
definitely.
All right, so Ubisoft finished. Let's talk about EA.
EA is one. I did not catch their press conference, so you're going to have to kind of fill me in on that. I did see. I believe they showed Dragon Age, right? The
Yeah,
Inquisition.
yeah.
I did catch that, and I'm super excited for that. I loved the first Dragon Age. I liked the second one more than a lot of people did,
You know, I
but
kind of like the second one too, even though it I mean, I understand the complaint that it may kind of takes the epic scale of the first game and kind of narrows it down to one city, which makes it less epic. But
yeah,
I thought the
yeah,
game itself was pretty fun.
yeah, definitely. I liked the combat, and before we move on completely to Electronic Arts, I wanted to say one thing. I found it about Ubisoft just real quick. They announced what was it? I think they had a total of like 5 games that they showed. Assassin's Creed, The Crew. Oh, did we? Yeah, The Crew.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about Tom Clancy's The Division,
Oh, yeah, we
which
didn't.
that looked really impressive, man, visually, and it looked really polished. And it might be like it's a shooter, not my thing, but for people that are into the Tom Clancy games, that looks really cool. But the point I wanted to make was, here we've got you know all new games, not one for Nintendo. Which if you look back, when the Wii U launched, they had a brand new IP for the Wii U, and it sounded like they were pretty solidly behind the Wii U. And here we are heading into mid 2014 and into 2015, and not one game on the Wii U there. I just thought that was pretty interesting to point out.
I heard that they announced that they had some stuff for the Wii U in development, but they were gonna wait until the install base was larger to release anything.
Hmm.
I guess that's someone at Ubisoft said that. It might be just a rumor, but that's what I heard. So
Yeah,
that could be
yeah,
true. Who knows, really? But that is kind of conspicuous. There is nothing on the Nintendo platform.
definitely. So back to EA, and what other games caught your eye?
Okay, well, EA talked about the big one. I think for them was probably Star Wars Battlefront.
Hmm.
I'm not interested in that. I didn't like the battle. I don't really like the Battlefront games, and I'm not a huge Star Wars fan. So I'm sure people are hyped for it. I just, you know, can't be bothered to care.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, like you said, Dragon Age Inquisition. That's not really an announcement, though. I mean, that's like coming out in like less than 4 months, right?
Yeah, nothing much new. We did see some footage which looked pretty amazing. Um, Now, did they tease some Mass Effect? Was it?
Sort of. I wanted to talk about that because they talked about Mass Effect, but they didn't really show anything. They showed like dudes in a studio talking about Mass Effect, but and that they're developing a new Mass Effect, but they didn't.
Hmm.
I don't remember them showing anything like actually gameplay wise. And they also talked about some kind of new IP that they're making at the same time, but both of those were really vague.
Yeah, yeah. I know they had a lot of sports game talk, I believe. Like they've got UFC and NHL and PGA, so like golf and no, I'm a big time. I really like watching UFC. I haven't really gotten into the games too much. This new one looks pretty cool, and it's got Bruce Lee in it. So I guess if you're a fan of that, I guess that's something to look forward to. The Sims. Were you ever into The Sims?
I played the first Sims game, but I never. I've had the Sims 3 also, but I haven't really played a lot of them. I'm not like super into it. It's the kind of thing like I'd play for a couple hours and then just be bored of.
Yeah.
But I think like The Sims is a good thing for them to push actually because like, there's a ton of fans and they're really rabid fans.
Yeah, definitely. Um, I guess if I had to say what EA thing excited me the most personally would be Mirror's Edge 2.
Ah,
The first Mirror's Edge was a game that I shouldn't really have liked. I mean, I'm not really into the first person perspective. I do like BioShock and a few games that use it effectively, but I'm not really into the first person perspective, and I'm not really into like stealth and kind of like emphasis over, you know, no gunplay and things like that. But I really enjoyed the first Mirror's Edge. I thought that it did a great job visually in the world while it was a little barren and empty. I liked the color palette. It was really bright and striking. And I liked the parkour moving around. I really liked Mirror's Edge. And I liked it before, like when it first came out, when it didn't sell for shit, nobody cared about it, you know? I thought it was interesting. And I'm surprised to see a second one coming. I mean, we knew all along that it was coming and it had been talked about, but it wasn't really like, hadn't really set in until I saw it, you know?
oh, that's a pretty interesting one. I didn't really like the first game. I played it and I just kind of got tired of looking at it. And it's the kind of thing where like um I just I just wasn't really enjoying it, so I never finished it.
Yeah.
It's the kind of thing where like I probably won't get Mirror's Edge 2, even though I agree that game looks really nice. Like I like the kind of very white and bright everything with the just the color coded areas to where you should be headed.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty
I,
nice.
I really got like addicted to trying to perfect my parkour through the world, you know, and the speed runs were a lot of fun trying to, shave seconds off your time by doing, flawless runs. That really got addictive to me, man. I really fell in love with it for sure. So I'm excited for the second one.
I think a lot of people are probably excited for that. It's the kind of game that like EA themselves gave up on, but like the kind of vocal fans had made them reconsider.
Yeah, definitely. Now, what's the Dawn Gate? Did you see that?
It's like a MOBA,
Okay.
so I don't know. I don't play MOBAs. I'm not interested in like Dota 2 or League of Legends or whatever. So
Yeah.
Dawn Gate is another thing that I'm just kind of who cares?
Yeah, same here. A new Battlefield, um, which I'm not into the Battlefield games by any means. I find it interesting that Visceral Games is developing this one, which is, the guys behind Dante's Inferno, Dead Space. I believe DICE was the guys that usually did Battlefield, so it,
Yeah, Dice does Battlefield normally, but I think they're working on Mirror's Edge 2 and probably Battlefront.
Yeah. So you know, it'll be interesting to see what the fans say about that. I have no interest in Battlefield. I've tried playing it, and it's just not my thing, man.
Yeah,
It's not my thing.
shooter, military shooter,
Yeah,
not for me.
not for me either. So other than that, I think they announced a new Burnout. I think wasn't it Burnout
Did they?
Paradise?
I don't know.
Yeah. Upcoming Burnout Paradise. From what I'm reading, yeah, it looks like they said something about it, but I don't remember this being mentioned at all.
Yeah, I
But
don't remember that either. Was that like
uh,
was did they mention that after the conference? Was it just like an
yeah,
afterward?
I this one says that it brings back Burnout Paradise, but it's got jet skis, ATVs, wingsuits, uh, like a big emphasis on physics. Um, I guess with an emphasis on like stunts and stuff like that. So I'll have to check into more of that. Shit, Burnout Paradise was a real early title that, once again a racing game, but I had a lot of fun with that. So if that's the case, I'm consider me interested in that for sure.
Yeah, again, racing.
Yeah,
I'm out.
yeah, yes, sir. So so far between Ubisoft and EA, who would you say had the stronger showing for you
Out of
personally?
those two, Ubisoft.
Yeah,
Not to even downplay EA because if they had shown something from Mass Effect, I would have probably went with EA on that because like I would be really excited for that. But they just kind of mentioned it in this weird thing while talking to some guy in a room. It wasn't really exciting. Dragon Age Inquisition, that's pretty good. But other than that, I'm not really interested in the stuff that they showed.
yeah, nothing really too crazy. I think Inquisition is probably the biggest, and for that I've been doing kind of like a blackout. So when I saw that, I almost like thinking, oh wow, EA just announced Dragon Age Inquisition, but it's been long coming. I've done a complete blackout on it because I'm trying to not watch so much video of stuff that I'm interested in because it ruins it for me, man. I'm trying to really stay away from watching stuff. So yeah, that's probably the most excited I am for the EA stuff with Mass Effect, obviously, Mirror's Edge 2 and Burnout if it's happening. Both look pretty cool too. But what is next after that?
All right, so EA and Ubisoft down. Let's hop into Microsoft. They were the first out of the big three.
Microsoft, man. I'm really happy that they came out and showed a hell of a lot of games. They almost had to after last E3, the running joke of sports, TV, sports. They came with some pretty good looking stuff, and man, Sunset Overdrive is something that I cannot wait to get my hands on that game. It's a exclusive game from Insomniac, who previously did all the Ratchet games. Pretty much was a Sony standby. They came out, I think, last year, or the year before, with Fuse, a multi-platform shooter, which didn't do so well. It wasn't a very good game. I played it and I wasn't too impressed. It felt really generic. But Sunset Overdrive looks like a hell of a lot of fun. Did you see any video of that?
Yeah, I saw a bit of that. Was that that Conquer came out at the end? Oh no, that's Project Spark. That's something
Yeah,
different.
that's Project Spark. Yeah. Sunset Overdrive it almost looked like it kind of reminded me of like Jet Set Radio without the skates and with guns because the guy was like grinding along the rooftops and grinding on stuff and just like moving around the city really, really fast. And it had that really bright, cartoony look to it. Maybe Jet Set Radio was a bad idea, but just that grinding reminded me of that, and it looked really crazy and over the top, and the visual style was like a breath of fresh air. It's not dark and gray and depressing. It was really bright and beautiful, and it looked like a lot of fun to play.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of hype for that game. I'm, I'm not. I don't have an Xbox One yet, so it's kind of. I'm not like super hyped for it, but it's kind of like on my radar. Just not something I would say I would buy right away.
Right.
But Microsoft really did kind of come out swinging this time. They really did show a lot of really good stuff. Even though like a lot of it is multi-platform, they actually did show a ton of games, which is nice. They actually, and they did show a reasonable amount of good kind of exclusives too, which is also really nice.
Yeah, that's one thing I've noticed about all of the companies really is that it looks like we're getting a pretty strong emphasis back on exclusives, man, and that really has me excited because, I mean, yeah, everybody, it's great to have multi-platform games, give everybody a chance to play, and obviously companies want to make the most possible amount of money. But if everything is the same, it gives no incentive to go for a certain console, and exclusives are that reason. And it looks like both companies, Sony and Microsoft, are both going after exclusives in a pretty big way, which is a good thing.
I agree. So let's look a little deeper into what Microsoft talked about. They talked about, oh yeah, Forza Horizon 2. Maybe you're excited about that. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the first Forza Horizon was really cool. It's another open world racing game. It was a lot of fun. Production was great. It looked good. So I don't think that it'll be a day one for me, but it's definitely what I'm gonna have to do is all these new racing games that are coming out. I'm gonna have to look into them as they come closer to releasing and just pick one, and just go with that because I don't have time to be playing, five different racing games that are all open world and are basically the same thing. So it's on my radar, but it's not something that I'm, a system seller for me.
Yeah, it's not on my radar. I don't care.
Yeah, definitely not. Now I know Call of Duty. What is it? Call of Duty
Advanced Warfare.
Advanced Warfare. Yeah, that's on your radar. I know for sure.
It's like almost on my radar because every time someone says advanced warfare, I start to think Advanced Wars, and I'm like,
Advanced Wars.
I'm like all
Yeah.
excited, and then I'm like, oh, it's just you're just talking about Call of Duty, not Advanced Wars.
Yeah, Call of Duty shit. Not even remotely looking forward to that. To be honest with you, man, I am so sick of first-person war shooters that if I never saw another one again for the next 5 years, it would not bother me one bit.
I am not a fan of first-person war shooters even before they were everywhere. So it's the
Yeah,
kind of thing where like it's just the kind of thing like it's just noise in the background to me. I just ignore it.
yeah. Now, we do have a new shooter from the guys that did Left 4 Dead called Evolve.
Yeah, I saw that. Um, I don't really know. Uh, could be all right.
Yeah, I'm kind of indifferent. I mean, it's a four versus one co-op game that pits four hunters against one superpowered monster. Um, you know, Left 4 Dead was kind of fun, and this one looks like it might scratch that same itch, but it's not really on my radar for a couple of reasons previously stated. So, it looks cool,
I think
but
like the thing with that game is that I think it looks really good. Like the graphics and the kind of art design of it. I I really
yeah.
like how it looks. I'm really not sure it's something I want to play. Like I'm not sure if the style of gameplay is something I want.
No, if it's like Left 4 Dead, it's going to be a fun game, and I'm not trying to say it's not. And I'm sure a lot of people are going to get into it, but for me, it's not my thing. But it does look pretty interesting. The theme looks really cool. Um, we've got Fantasia Music Evolved, which is, I believe, that Connect game where Harmonix is behind it. I don't really care about that.
Wait, is there is there a new? I didn't see that. What is it? Fantasia?
Yeah, it's
Is it based on
Fantasia.
the Disney Fantasia?
It's designed as a sequel to the 1940 animated Disney
Wow,
Fantasia.
that I mean, I'm not really interested in that, but I think that will probably sell really well if it's done well. I mean, Harmonix is a really good developer. Like they also talked about Dance Central Spotlight, which seriously, Dance Central is a fun game if you can get people to do it with you.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. To me, Connect just does not get me excited for one reason or another. I have no interest in that stuff. But, if people like that stuff, more power to them. And the Dance Central Spotlight definitely will probably be more fun than the last ones, and those were fun. My wife's daughter was all about that shit for a while, and I had to clear out the living room and let her take over for a couple hours at a time back then, and it seemed pretty cool. But um, the newest Fable Legends, it's going to let you adventure with four players. You can play as villains.
Man, you know, you know what? Fable will. I'll never be excited about Fable because Fable is it's like the antithesis of what I enjoy about RPGs. It's like if you took an RPG and just made it like press buttons to win. I mean, there's no sense of challenge in Fable because essentially you just if you die you just fall over for a minute and then just stand back up with full health and start fighting again.
Yeah, yeah, I do understand that fact. And myself, I do love the Fable games. I just not so much for the challenge, but more so for the humor and the overall world and fantasy element. Um, I liked the first one a lot. The second one was really good. The third one, I think that they were onto something good there with the decisions and the like the mayor aspect. I just think that there were some problems with it. But this one, man, is kind of going in the opposite direction that I want from a Fable game. I really don't want to play like Fable Borderlands. I don't. I would have preferred an epic plant a seed in the ground, come back 10 years later, and there's a tree promise that the first one made, that never got fulfilled. Something like that I'd be much more excited for. So I'm not really, I'll probably pick it up. I don't know about day one, but I don't know. I guess if I had enough people to play it with, it'd probably be more exciting, but I don't know, man. It looks good. I'll definitely probably pick it up. Not sure when,
Yeah,
but
I'm probably not gonna probably gonna pass on the old Fable series.
yeah.
Three was like the
Um,
last straw for me. I played two and I thought I'm not really enjoying this, and then I got to three and I'm just like, you know what? I'm done with this series. I don't enjoy it.
yeah. Now, Project Spark. Project Spark, players make their own games and then play and share them with friends. Uh, there's where you're talking about Conquer.
Yeah, Conquer showed up.
Yeah, I don't know much about this game, so I don't know if you know anything about it, but is that something you're interested in?
I don't know much about it, and I'm not really into those kind of make your own level kind of games. Like
No, me
Little
neither.
Big Planet and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I mean, it's probably different from Little Big Planet. I haven't really been keeping up with it, and it's the kind of thing I'm just like, it's not gonna be grabbing my attention anytime soon.
yeah, like I get that feeling from the game too. And Little Big Planet, it was something where Little Big Planet, if you wanted to put the time in to get something, it's like my dad saying in life, you get out of life what you put into it. That's the same thing that applies to Little Big Planet. If you got the time to put in, you can really make some cool levels. But I don't have the time for that. I don't think I'll have time for Project Spark either. It looks pretty interesting, but um, the one the one game that really has me interested on the Xbox One is Ori and the Blind Forest.
Oh, yeah, I thought that looked really good.
A really fresh art style. Uh, the fantasy creatures look just amazing, man. It's a two-dimensional platformer, so I don't know if that's going to be your thing or not, but man, that visual style looks just gorgeous. Gorgeous.
Yeah, I see. I'm not like a huge platformer fan, but it really does look gorgeous. I agree. Like, um, is it a downloadable title? Do you think?
I am not sure. I haven't looked into whether it's if it's a physical release or whether it's down. I'm not sure. I almost want to say it's probably downloadable from the looks of it, but I can't say with any certainty if that's what it is. It looks really good. I know that.
Yeah, it looks really really good, and I think even if it's a platformer, like I'm not, I like okay, so racing games and shooters are like way down on my list. Platformers are pretty low, but they're not like completely ignore low. So sometimes I buy them.
Yeah,
So this one actually looks like something I would buy because it looks gorgeous for sure.
definitely. Definitely. Nice and creative too. I think that's something that for me is what Microsoft and the Xbox brand as a whole needs to get back to because one of the reasons I was such a big fan of the original Xbox was that they had such a variety. It's like Microsoft was hungry to get their foot in the door and prove themselves, so they went after a very wide variety of exclusive content, with the Sega games and some of the PC ports and some of the really creative stuff and even early on in the 360's life, it seemed that they were after that same thing too, with like, Lost Odyssey and Blue Dragon and some other really creative games, Condemned and a lot of these games that you didn't see but it just seemed like towards the end of the Xbox 360's life, they knew they were in first place and they were leading in terms of like software sales and online. They just got lazy and were just content to have the best multi-platform offering with the occasional Gears and Halo. And I think Microsoft is getting back to the point where they're going after these different types of experiences, and I couldn't be more happy as an Xbox One owner for
Well,
sure.
speaking of that, speaking of great games from the original Xbox, reboot of Phantom Dust. Did you see that?
Oh man, I'm so pumped. I'm so pumped for that. That was such a great game. I actually just played that yesterday. I sat down with one of the things I like to do is on Sundays, I'll bring Zach up here. I'll shut off the new generation systems. We'll come into the game room and we'll choose a system and just grab a stack of games and just sit down and spend the afternoon on a Sunday just going through some great older games and playing them all day. And last weekend was we decided on the Xbox and like we sat down and I grabbed a stack of games and one of them happened to be Phantom Dust, and what a great game. Um, I'm so happy that it's coming back. I'm just thrilled. It just totally came out of nowhere too for me. I mean, it's like boom, a new Phantom Dust. Oh my God, sweet.
Yeah, that was probably the biggest announcement from the Microsoft press conference for me. I thought Phantom Dust, and I was like, yes, that is great.
Yeah, yeah, that's great stuff. Um, Also for the Xbox, if you're a Halo fan, you're going to have a lot to be excited about. They're going to bundle Halo 1 through 4 into one title and include the anniversary edition for Halo 2. You can switch between the remastered and original graphics. You can play the original Halo 2 multiplayer exactly as it shipped 10 years ago. And it will also come with the upcoming digital TV series Halo Nightfall, which is a story that will lead into the start of Halo 5. And they also announced Halo 5 Guardians. So I would imagine if you're a Halo fan, you've got to be pretty damn excited because I'll admit I got the first Halo when the Xbox launched and I thought it was cool. I didn't, get aboard the Halo train like a lot of people did, and it's still a very popular series, but coming from not really a super huge Halo fan, that's a really attractive package and it's definitely got value and I can see Halo fans really getting excited for something like that.
I wanna say, like, even though I'm saying like first person shooters are some of my least favorite genre, my friends always play Halo online, and I have Halo 3 and Halo Reach and Halo 4, and my friends always buy them for me, so I don't buy them myself. They just send them to me, and I have to play. So, I play Halo online with my friends, but the thing is, I don't really like first person shooters, but I really got into Halo Reach. Like, I almost have a platinum on that game. Not like platinum, I have like a complete trophy set for the house. Not trophies. What am I thinking trophies for? Achievements. Achievements. Yeah. I have almost all the achievements in Halo Reach. And I really liked Reach. I played that a ton. Um, and then I played Halo 4, and I thought, I don't like Halo 4. And I didn't like Halo 3 either. I just really liked Reach for some reason.
Hmm. Yeah, I do like the story world and like the mythos of the games, but I just, as a whole, I couldn't get into the series really. So I played some of the multiplayer and it was somewhat enjoyable, but yeah, I don't hate the series by any means. But that's a pretty tremendous value and package having all of them in one disc and the TV series and leading up to Halo 5 and Halo 5 looks insane visually, looks really good.
Does that package include Reach and ODST?
I don't, from what I read, it's 1 through 4. So I'm not sure if it I I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna get it because I don't want to play 5 Halo games or whatever. But
Hmm.
um, in that I agree that that's a great value for fans of Halo.
Yeah, and I guess that's got to be a pretty big draw. I know a lot of people were like purists for Halo 2 and the multiplayer, so that's kind of a cool option to include like the original Halo 2 as it was, you know, unchanged. So that's got to be, and it's also a cool option being able to, you know, switch back and forth between the old graphics and the new. It seems like a lot of cool options that come with that set.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a pretty interesting set. I mean, that's a lot of games for a set. That's like we're getting to like Metal Gear collection levels at this point.
Yeah, definitely. Now, another game that really, I want to say, looks interesting. It's from the people that did the Limbo game. It's called Inside.
Oh yeah,
And
I really liked Limbo a lot, so I'll definitely give this game a chance.
okay, it's got that kind of subdued sepia tone look to it, and it's a platformer. You play as a young boy in an unfriendly world. Um,
That
looks
sounds like
really cool.
Limbo.
It does. It does. It looks really cool. Definitely, if you're into Limbo, that's definitely one to keep on your radar. The new Tomb Raider. How do you feel about the new Tomb Raider?
I don't really like the Tomb Raider series, so I don't really care.
Yeah,
I'm not interested in Tomb Raider. I'm not. I know a lot of people are going to be hyped for it because Tomb Raider is huge, but
yeah,
I don't care.
yeah. I can't say that I care much either.
There were
The
things I was interested in though. Crackdown, the new Crackdown. That's something I'm interested in.
Yeah, I did not like the second
You know,
one. The first one,
I really liked Crackdown. I really liked Crackdown 1 and 2. Spent a ton of time running around the city to collect all those orbs, and just, I really liked that game. It felt like being a superhero, but in a non superhero kind of setting.
yeah, the first one totally had me hooked. I loved it, and the second one came out, and it was like I remember a lot of like get to this point and like guard this section while all these enemies come out, and it just lost some of the flair of the first one where you go to the gang hideouts and like kill the gang leader. It lost something for me. The second one did. Just wasn't as good for me, but I still enjoyed it. I thought the wingsuit was cool, but you know, a new Crackdown is always a good thing. You know, definitely.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for that. It looks really cool. Like, it's all crazy neon and stuff. It's like really nice looking.
Now, how about the this is multi-platform, but the Witcher 3
You know,
Wild Hunt?
I have a problem with The Witcher. Not because I haven't played it, but the reason is I bought The Witcher. I bought it on the 360, and it was region locked, so I couldn't play it. So I have a copy of The Witcher. I just can't play it. And I
It's a really complex game, man. I remember playing it and like to go into a battle, you had to like oil up your sword blades and a lot of maintenance. It was really complicated, really strong storytelling and dialogue, but it was pretty complex, man.
Yeah, that's it sounds like something I would really enjoy. Like I always look at The Witcher and I think, well, I can't run it on my computer and it's region locked, so I can't actually play it, but I want to. So it's the kind of thing where like I'll probably buy The Witcher 3 when it comes out, as long as it's not region locked, obviously. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Now,
I'm pretty interested in that game.
we've also got a sequel to Killer Instinct coming, which is coming pretty
It's not
quick.
a sequel though, is it? It's just like season 2. Like, are they
Oh,
just adding
yes.
more characters?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Killer Instinct Season 2, which I think just real quick deserves special mention. The company that did Killer Instinct is a company called Double Helix. And you know, these guys were kind of the underdog. I'm a big fan of their work. They did I think they did a great job on Silent Hill Homecoming. I don't care what anybody says. Silent Hill Homecoming was a damn fine entry in the series.
It's
It
the
had
only one I
awesome
haven't played
combat.
yet.
It has awesome combat, you know, real-time wounds when you slash, and it's got like I think it was either a block or like an evade that made the combat really interesting. The story was completely understandable from start to finish. It was really cool to know exactly what was going on in a Silent Hill game for once. And they did a great job on the Strider reboot. and they did a good job on Killer Instinct, and now here comes the second one. So I think that company deserves some mention. I think they're a great
I
company.
think Double Helix isn't developing it anymore.
Oh, this one is done by Iron Galaxy, it
Yeah,
says.
Iron Galaxy did Dive Kick.
Oh, wow. Well, that'll be interesting to see how if I know the Killer Instinct was pretty well received,
Yeah,
if
well,
I'm not
well, like,
mistaken.
Double Helix got bought by somebody, right? Or they got bought by Sony, maybe, something like that.
Oh,
I
wow.
don't
I
remember.
didn't hear that.
I don't remember who. I'd have to look it up because it didn't like really affect me at the time. But I'm pretty sure the reason they're not working on the game anymore is that they got bought by somebody else and they're not
Okay.
doing it anymore.
Okay. So other than that, we've got like you said, Phantom Dust, which looks amazing. Tom Clancy's The Division, which we already talked about, multi-platform, and we've got another Xbox One exclusive called Scalebound,
Ah, that's a game
which
that I was pretty excited for. The Platinum Games is developing.
yeah, this one is over-the-top Japanese style action game
Did you see the
with
trailer for it? It's like it goes from like one giant crazy monster to two giant crazy monsters to like
yeah, and I'm always a sucker for like oversized swords, man, and yeah, that looks really interesting to me. I'm really excited for that one.
yeah, that
I
one
think
is
it's
really nice looking.
definitely another example of Xbox kind of going after something out of, not the norm. Definitely. I'm really happy with the way they're back into that. I think it's a great thing.
Yeah, I think Microsoft really showed that they're kind of back in bringing themselves back in the game. They like brought their A game, and
Yeah, definitely.
they're really like showing the stuff that people might want.
Definitely. Because I don't know if people pay attention. I'm sure there's a lot of people that do, but towards the end of this generation, PS3, 360, the PlayStation 3 was really on a roll with exclusives, man. There was so many, games like Witch in the Hundred Knight, the Guided Fate Paradox, all the Disgaea games, even Dragon Guard, the Final Fantasy, the Kingdom Hearts. They've got so many exclusives kind of like crept up, the Tales games. And there's a lot more that I'm not, all the Atelier games. A lot of those are RPGs, but there was a lot of exclusive content, Magus, a lot of kind of niche under the radar games that came out on PS3 only, and the Xbox just can't answer that. So with games like this hitting the Xbox One, these like kind of quirky Japanese, that fills a big void for me personally. I can't speak for everybody, but for me, that's right on track to being something that I'm interested in is getting that kind of game genre back into the
Yeah,
mix. So I'm at,
I'm with you on that. I hope they keep it up because like you said with the 360, they did the same thing right in the beginning where it was like pretty impressive with all the kind of variety they were coming out with, and then like at the end of the 360, it was like you said, just hoping for the best multiplats and sometimes Halo and Gears of War.
yeah,
There were,
yeah,
yeah, like I mean, towards the end of the 360, which I mean, it's still going, but like even now, there's not like there's 360 exclusives coming out at the moment. There's like so few that it's, compared to the PS3, which is still getting great exclusives. Persona 5, for example, is coming.
yeah. Two new Tales games, Exilia 2, Zestiria. Like you said, Persona 5. There's still a lot of exclusive content coming for that, and but just to wrap up Microsoft, like you said, the last one we've got here is Crackdown 3, which we just touched upon. That's cool, bringing that back. That's a great thing. It's a great thing. Overall, I think Microsoft was really solid, man. I was happy to see.
Yeah, Microsoft did way better than I thought they were going to. There was a lot more stuff I was interested in.
Do you want to move on to Sony?
Yeah, let's move on to Sony.
Okay. Um, Sony really, I'm all about the PS4. Moving into the future, I think there's a lot of great stuff coming out. Um, I guess, how did you feel about the Sony?
The Sony thing was like they announced more stuff than like probably actually they probably announced about the same amount of stuff as Microsoft did in terms of like stuff I'm interested in. Except
Yeah,
the stuff Sony showed was stuff that I was more interested in. If that
yeah,
makes sense. Like there's some like
it does.
Phantom Dust is really high on my list of stuff. That like beats a lot of the stuff that was announced. But still Bloodborne, that takes the cake, I
Yeah,
think. That's like the game I'm most excited for.
yeah, definitely. My son as well is just watched, the trailer 100 times, I think, and the gameplay footage, and he's super pumped for that. Bloodborne, one of the exclusives for sure. We've also, speaking of, we Little Big Planet, Little Big Planet 3 was announced, which is a great thing. I think that they're great games. They're games that what you put into them is what you're going to get out of them. If you're willing to put a lot of time into it, then you're going to get a lot out. As a standalone game, as platforming, I think it's got charm to spare. It's a great little series, man, and I'm happy to see the third one come out. I know you're not super
Yeah, I,
into
I don't
the
like Little Big Planet. I accidentally bought Little Big Planet. Like I say that because I have two copies of Little Big Planet, and I have one on the PSP and one on the PS3, and
Mhm.
I I got them accidentally because when I'm not Microsoft when Sony was giving away their free games on PSN after the outage.
Yeah, yeah.
I accidentally downloaded Little Big Planet instead of the game I actually wanted because
Okay.
what happened was I was when I was downloading the game, someone was in the room and they stepped on the remote control for the TV and the TV went off. And I was like not
Uh-huh.
paying attention and I kept hitting buttons and
Yeah.
I accidentally bought Little Big Planet instead of so I got Little Big Planet twice.
Wow. It's that's kind of funny, dude. You know, a lot of Sony's is multi-platform. In terms of exclusives, like we said, Bloodborne is probably the most exciting. No Man's Sky. Did you see anything on that?
Yeah, it's weird to think that the developer is the people who developed Joe Danger. Like it's
Yeah,
weird
yeah,
because like it looks really good, but I'm not sure about that one yet. I'm still like kind of holding out to see what it actually plays like because there's a ton of hype behind that game. Everyone's like super hyped, but I'm just kind of cautiously watching it, I guess.
yeah. It's definitely got my interest. They're also doing like a standalone for Infamous,
Yeah, I saw that.
which I'm not. I I think the new Infamous was great on a technical level, and I think it was an important title for the PS4 because people were starting to complain that there wasn't, much in the way of exclusives, and there hadn't really been a big game to sell the PS4, even though it was selling great. So I think that the Infamous did its job in terms of bringing a high-profile exclusive to the PS4 that was impressive. However, it's definitely my least favorite in the series. I don't think the new character had anything on Cole McGrath. I thought some of the powers were really lazy. I don't want neon powers that make absolutely no sense. I don't want video powers to sprout video angel wings. A lot of that game did not make sense for me. It was pretty disappointing to me personally. I know a lot of people loved it. I appreciate what it was doing. I didn't like the direction of the powers, which is a big part of the game for me, you know. Didn't do it for me. But there's a standalone coming.
Yeah, they saw
Um,
like
it,
they announced like a bunch of um like what Sony did that I thought like half of their presentation it was long, it was 2 hours, and
yeah,
about half of it was just boring. And
yeah,
and I'm saying that like they announced stuff, but they announced stuff that was like, oh yeah, sure, all these games are multi-platform, but we've got like one extra mission on the Sony platform, or whatever, like one extra character on the Sony platform. It's just like, well,
yeah.
okay, that's cool and all, but it's not exciting enough to be like spending an hour on. And
No, not at all. I agree.
like they did
I
talk about
agree.
some stuff. I mean, they showed a little bit more of the Order 1886. I mean, that game got delayed though, so it's kind of
Yeah,
I'm pretty excited for it. It looks pretty cool, but at the same time, it's not.
yeah.
It's pretty far off. So
Yeah, I've got full faith in Ready at Dawn. I think they make some amazing games, and Everything I've played on the PSP, I loved from them. So I'm pretty sure that they're gonna deliver. The order looks great. I'll definitely be picking that up when it comes out.
I think
Uh,
the what I was like a really great announcement from Sony was the Grim Fandango HD remaster.
yes, yep, definitely.
That was a game I remember playing on the PC when I was a kid. So
Now, fill me in on that. Was that a kind of like point and click? Was that
yeah,
what that
it's a
was?
point and click adventure, and you're like I don't know, it's like kind of based on the Mexican Day of the Dead. So like you know, all your characters are like those puppets, and
Okay, yeah.
it is a point and click adventure. It was made by um, LucasArts back in the day.
Okay. Okay, yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about now. Now, speaking of remakes, they also announced, which this just makes me really happy. Well, actually, on remakes and enhancings, we've got a Ratchet and Clank, a reimagining of the first game, which you know me, I'm super into Jack and Dexter, Ratchet and Clank, and Sly Cooper. I love the Ratchet games, probably my favorite of the three. So I'm super excited for that. On top of that, we've also got Grand Theft Auto 5 and The Last of Us remastered. So right there, there's like what, three or four remasterings coming out for the PS4. Any of those interest you?
Not really. You know, I'm not like a huge fan of really any of those. I haven't even finished Grand Theft Auto 5, and I have it on the 360, so I'm not going to be double dipping on a game that I like couldn't be bothered to finish.
Right,
So yeah, I don't know.
right.
None of that stuff is really lighting me on fire over here. I think like the thing with that is that what Microsoft did something really cool here in that they actually showed a lot of new stuff or upcoming stuff, and then Sony kind of did this thing where they showed a lot of remasters and kind of bonus content that's only on Sony consoles, and they did that a lot. So
They did.
it kind of actually made their press conference overall less exciting than Microsoft's.
You know, now that we're looking and going through it, I kind of agree. You know, No Last Guardian, which really pisses me off, man. I mean, come on. There was that online hoax from IGN, which made them look completely fucking retarded, saying the game was canceled, and then a day later having to go back and retract their statement when one of the guys from Sony said, no, the game is not canceled. That was pretty stupid. Just give us something to let us know that the game is coming, other than words. But whatever. Hopefully, at one of the next things will show something.
Yeah, I think
Um,
the problem with the Sony announcements were that it was weighted in the front and the back. So like you had this giant middle section where there was kind of just remasters and stuff about like TV shows and extra game content, and then like every once in a while they'd throw in something interesting, and then it would just be back to this boring stuff where it'd be like dude in a suit talking about facts and figures. It was like
yeah, I agree. I mean,
but the thing is like they did show a lot of cool stuff. It's just their pacing was really bad.
yeah, I agree, man. I'm really excited for the Ratchet game because I that's one of my personal favorites. So I get that a lot of people will be like, "Oh, come on, it's a remake." I'm really interested to see. I think that Grand Theft Auto 5 was quite an achievement on the last generation systems. It really looked good, man, and I'm interested to see how good they can make it look for the new systems. So I'm definitely keeping my eyes on that. Grim Fandango for sure. The Last of Us remastered. I don't know, man. That game looks so good on PS3 that I don't know that I'll need to double dip on that. So that's kind of up in the air. But one original brand new game that really, really has me interested in is I believe it's Abzu.
The school. Oh,
Is that
I
I
yeah.
think it's
I
I think
don't
it's
remember what it is though.
okay. Abzu, I think that's the name. If I'm wrong, it's by the guys that did Journey,
Oh, okay,
and
that
it's
that game.
it's that's like the underwater ocean exploring, kind of like the same guy that does the soundtrack for Journey is doing the soundtrack for this one, and he was like nominated for a Grammy for Journey. I think Journey's got one of the most beautiful soundtracks ever. So right away, the music hit me. I knew exactly what it was. I knew it was from the guy that did Journey. It sounded beautiful, and it looked really serene. It looks like they really nailed the atmosphere of under the water and under ocean, the beauty of it all. And it kind of showed some stuff like almost like Atlantis, like a hidden city under an ocean. So, you know, Flower and Journey, they're more than games to me. They're like these experiences that are just perfect, man. So I've got the highest hopes for this one. Really, really excited for that. I'm a sucker for anything underwater, man. I just love that shit. So I'm really, really looking forward to their new project for sure.
That should be pretty good.
Definitely. To be honest, other than that, which is going to be probably a day one for me. The Mortal Kombat, which looks really good. Um, I think, ah, man,
You know what?
I'm sh
I'm pretty excited for the Suda 51
Oh
exclusive.
yeah,
Let it die.
yeah.
The skateboarding
Yeah,
death.
fill us in on that. What exactly is that?
Yeah, yeah. Like it's hard to even tell from the trailer, but it looks like really gritty and brutal. Like I don't know. There's like a lot of killing in the game, but it looks like a kind of I don't even know. Maybe it's an arena battle game with brutal killing or something. I don't even really know because just looking at the trailer, it's really short and it's just interspersed with like bloody kills and stuff. And but it's a Sudogoichi game, so it should be goofy at some point. And plus, like the title, it looks like all grimdark, but then like the title comes out and there's like a little skateboarding death who rolls out, so it's like all goofy.
Right.
So I'm
Yeah,
hoping that it's kind of like an over the top gore fest, I guess.
yeah, definitely. Now that's a PlayStation 4 exclusive, right?
Yeah, that's an exclusive.
Okay. Now, did they show more of the Evil Within?
No, not at the conference at least. I'm sure it's there at E3 though.
And what did we get for the Vita? I don't remember seeing anything for the Vita.
Yeah, we there's the Vita TV.
Oh yeah. That's right. I'm sure that's made a lot. I knew a lot of people were wanting that, so that should make people happy, eh?
Yeah, but besides that, there were like they didn't talk about any games.
Man, I think they Tales of Hearts are
Yeah.
uh to be honest with you, I think that's the only other than like I did pre-order the Danganronpa 2. I missed the first special edition, so I sure as hell was not going to miss that second one. But other than those two games, I don't really know what else is coming for the Vita.
Yeah, there's a ton of stuff coming in Japan. I don't know about you guys though.
Yeah,
Is
man.
Freedom
It's
Wars and Orishika 2 are coming for
Oh
you?
yeah. Those three role-playing games that they announced a while
Yeah,
back.
yeah.
Yeah, those as well. But did they even mention those at E3?
Not in the conference.
Wow, that's a shame, man. What are they doing with the Vita?
Yeah, I don't know. It's hopefully it picks up once the Vita TV comes out, but who knows
Yeah,
really? I think
and
it's much
with that
stronger in Japan, so there's much more kind of interest in many more games, obviously.
definitely in that PlayStation Now, I guess a lot of people are excited about that, where you can kind of use the Vita for like streaming the older games, I think. Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's like a streaming service, so you can kind of stream anywhere, but I don't really care about that. I don't,
Yeah,
if I want to play a game, I'll just go buy the disc.
yeah, yeah. I hope that does something for some people that are, and there's that PlayStation 4 and Vita bundle, I think that was leaked out.
Yeah, I think that
Where,
I'm not sure if that's everywhere or just France where it was leaked, but who knows?
okay. I tell you what, that white PlayStation 4 looks damn good to me.
Oh yeah, it does look pretty good. That's with coming with Destiny, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Did you see Destiny at all?
Yeah, Destiny looks really cool, man.
Man, I I can't get it even remotely interested in it. It's like more space shooter. Okay.
Yeah, I'm talking like specifically in terms of like the world that they've created. It looks like a really interesting world. Um, it's going to be a hard sell with it being a first-person shooter, but in terms of what they've created, I think looks really cool.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of hype for that game, so I think it's going to sell really well.
For the amount of money that it's costing to develop that game, I damn well hope so.
For the amount of money Activision threw at Bungie to acquire them.
Yeah, wasn't it like the most expensive game in history or something? I think I heard that being tossed around.
Really? I didn't hear that, but could be. I don't know.
Yeah, I heard like an insane amount of money to get that game going. But is that pretty much it for Sony?
Yeah, that's pretty much it, I think. Unless there was something else you were thinking about.
Huh. I think we pretty much touched on everything.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the
Um,
stuff they talked about was multi-platform stuff that we already talked about. Um,
yeah, yeah.
so yeah, I guess that'll be the end of Sony. So
That leaves
that leaves
Nintendo.
the big N.
Nintendo. We're on a slippery slope here, eh?
Good God. Okay. I stayed up like pretty late last night to watch this conference. Um, and I swear to God, people are trolling when they say Nintendo did really well in this because there was not a single damn game they mentioned that I was even remotely interested in. Nothing. Literally zero. I was sitting through this whole thing so bored and so like, oh my God, just announce something, anything. And then, what we got was, all right, Nintenlanders. We got, Zelda Skyrim Sword, and we got, you know, uh, Little Mario Planet or whatever that 3DS game is. It was just like, it's like, is Nintendo even trying anymore? What are they doing?
Yeah, to me, the worst part about the Nintendo conference was that Mario Maker. Like, if I see the original Mario Brothers one more time, I think I'm gonna throw up, dude. I really, really do. I don't want to make pipes. I don't want to build an 8-bit Mario. That really, really irritated me, man. And I'm sure Nintendo fans will eat it up, being able to move around Goombas and make a pipe longer, or no pun intended there. Um, but man, come on, dude. Like Nintendo, I'll say one thing. They made me happy that I already have a Wii U because I'm gonna say right now that new Zelda, it looks freaking amazing in terms of graphics and that peaceful countryside and the grass blowing in the wind. Holy shit. Like that looks really impressive graphically, and I'm excited to see because I do like Zelda, man. If I can say one thing about Nintendo, I do like Zelda, and I think that looks really freaking beautiful. Depending on how they, do the whole Skyrim thing, I don't know if it'll work for Zelda. I don't know.
Yeah, okay. They didn't really talk about a ton of stuff, so let's just go through the bullet list here. The first thing we should get out of the way is the amiibos, the Nintenlanders or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not. That's not my thing. You know, I don't. I'm not really. I'm not really interested in that, to be honest with you. I could care less.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing where like, I think I mean, I understand why they do it. It's a great idea. I mean, because it's gonna make them a ton of money because, it's already worked for Skylanders and already worked for Disney Infinity. It's not like it's not tested. It's the kind of
Yeah,
thing where like, okay, Nintendo's Me Too kind of toy line or whatever, great, but that's not something I'm even remotely interested in. I'm not even like, and when I'm saying this, like I know the Nintendo fanboys are commenting in the comments right now how much I hate Nintendo, but like I have a Wii U, I have a 3DS, I have all of these, I have all their systems, I've bought every one of their systems, and the thing is that when I'm saying that, you know, pretty much I think every one of these games that they showed is garbage. Like I'm not saying that the quality of the game is bad. I'm saying that in terms of how I want, games I'm interested in, games I like even remotely want to play, these games are
yeah,
filed away under the category of garbage I'm not interested in. And like
yeah.
The amiibos, totally that. Like, it's not even something I'd be even remotely interested in. It wouldn't be something I'd be interested in if it was like something from my favorite game series, because I'm not like a toy collector. I play games. I don't play with toys. I don't have a reason to keep toys around my house. I don't have a place to put toys. I don't want to display toys in my apartment. I'm a grown ass man.
Yeah,
That's all I'm
I
saying.
totally get where you're coming from, man. And like you said, Nintendo should have done this a while ago. I mean, they've got a history of 20 plus years of characters that people have grown up with and people love that are going to buy the shit out of those characters, man. So it's going to be a definite money pit for them, I would think. You know, it makes sense. But for me, I just don't really care. Like you said, I collect statues and video game related stuff if it comes to special editions, but I don't have any need to litter my game room with little figurines that trade stats and whatnot. I'm not really into Smash Brothers. It's not really I'm not really like into that. It looks pretty cool. It's got all the Nintendo characters. I get it, but I just never really got into the Smash
Yeah,
Brothers games
I'm the
too
same
too
exact way.
heavily.
Like, my friends played Smash Brothers actually on the Nintendo 64, and I just never got into it. I could not play that game. I just thought it's so not fun. We would start playing it, and like I'd play a couple rounds, and I'd be like, okay, let's put on Street Fighter because we're not playing this anymore.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
seriously, that was like I just seriously dislike Smash Brothers. And like the thing is like that the press conference, like the beginning thing was like too long about too many too many Smash Brothers things. It was like, all
Yeah.
right, we're gonna introduce our new character, Mario's nipple from that one game once. It's like, who cares? I just don't care about Smash Brothers at all, and I think the gameplay is bad, and I think like it's not a fun game. And I understand people like it, but uh and people love Nintendo's characters, but I don't love Nintendo's characters and I don't love Nintendo's games. So it's the kind of thing where like I kind of go into all of their conferences hoping that they're going to show me something that's either developed by Intelligent Systems, which is like their internal development studio that makes all the games I like from them, or it's just going to be some third party or second party stuff that might be interesting. And they
Yeah.
really, really dropped the ball in this way. I'll go into that a little bit later as to why they really dropped the ball, because there actually was a really good Wii U exclusive announcement from a third party that they didn't even mention. So like, it's the kind of thing where like, anyway, we'll continue on the list and we'll get to that afterwards. But the next thing, Yoshi's Woolly World. Yeah, yeah.
Uh, I didn't like Kirby's Epic Yarn, so I'm not really interested in Yoshi's Woolly World. Um,
Yeah, the worst thing about it, I thought, was like not only does it look like it's not going to be. I mean, it's not the kind of game I would play anyway, but it looked like it reminded me of Little Big Planet. Not the way it's played. Obviously, it's not like a world building game, but the way it looked.
yeah, the aesthetic, man. They're kind of ripping off Sackboy's like texture, like his sack yarn, almost like a burlap look. You know what I mean? Like a burlap sack look. It's got that look of I don't know, man. I don't think that the game looks. It doesn't look like it's good. If I'm gonna play a 2D platformer, I want it to be challenging and I want precision platforming and that floaty jump that he's got and just the overall game. I'm just not really interested in a yarn or wool or whatever platform. It's just not for me. It's not for
Yeah,
me.
the thing is like I'm not saying like again, I'm not saying it's bad. I don't, I haven't played it, but it's the kind of thing where it looks good and everything. It's doing what it's supposed to do. It just doesn't look exciting. It doesn't look like something that's drawing me in. And I think
No.
that's like one of the main problems Nintendo had with their entire conference. It's like all of the games they announced were things like for the true Nintendo faithful only. It's like not stuff that's going to be drawing people into. None of these games are going to be drawing people in. It's
Yeah.
just people who are, take Zelda. We'll talk about Zelda. It looks great, sure, it does, but you know, people who aren't fans of Zelda aren't gonna be like, I really want to try a Zelda game. I guess I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna buy a Wii U and get this game just for this one Zelda game.
No, no, this conference was definitely for the Nintendo faithful, 100%. Most definitely. Like, Smash Brothers, I'll probably end up picking up because Zach really likes it, and I'll probably end up fighting with him. Yoshi's Yarn or Woolly, definitely probably not picking that up. But I mean, I can see where it appeals to the Nintendo player and almost Nintendo player only. I mean, it's I don't know whether they're going after new people or not. I would think that they would be with the way the Wii U is selling. And aside from, geez, I don't even know. Bayonetta 2, maybe?
Well,
Which, is
let's talk about more that they talked about. They introduced Captain Toad.
now that
Okay.
of everything that they announced, that's probably the least interesting thing that I saw. To me that just looks like a mini game that I have no interest in whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm. They talked to Kirby, the Rainbow Curse. Um,
You know, I didn't like Canvas Curse really. I'm not really into drawing the lines and having the character flow. I really enjoyed the Kirby the Triple Deluxe, on the 3DS. I thought that was, super easy, but it was a fun platformer and the abilities were cool. So I would have liked to have seen a standard Kirby game as opposed to the Canvas Curse style game play with the drawing the line and whatever. So I mean, not really my thing either with the Kirby.
yeah. What else was there? Of course, Mario Maker that we talked about. Pokemon remasters for Alpha, for Sapphire and Ruby.
Yeah, I don't want to make Mario levels and I don't play Pokemon.
Yeah, same here. That's the kind of thing. It's like all of these games are the kind of things that, like, if you're a Nintendo fan already and you love Pokemon and you love Mario, it's gonna be, oh right, more of the same. But for me, I don't really enjoy those games, and just more of the same is just making me think Nintendo is lazy. They're not. That's all I can say. It's like you're not doing anything to, excite me.
Yeah, and I will say, like, I tried the Yoshi's on the new Yoshi game on the 3DS, and I really didn't care for that. What is it, Yoshi's? I forget the title of the game for the 3DS, the newest Yoshi's New Story or New Island or
New
something.
Island, I think, right?
Yeah, I thought that I didn't really enjoy that game at all, and I saw that the new one has that same mechanic where you like use the stylus to point, and then he shoots the egg, I think, or something. I didn't enjoy that one, so the new Yoshi game doesn't look good. But the Toad is probably the worst looking of the bunch for me.
Yeah, that
Uh,
then they did talk about some other games that are like third party stuff. So there was Hyrule Warriors.
which I will pick that up. I will. I love Dynasty Warriors. I love 99 Nights. I love the crowd-based hack and slash games. So I'll be picking that up for
Yeah, I
sure.
think I'm not interested in that because I'm not a fan of Zelda. But I like those hack and
Mhm.
slash games, but I don't like them all the time, so there's a ton that I haven't played. So if I want to get another one, I'll pick up, Warriors Orochi 3 or whatever. I'm
Mhm.
not gonna I don't really care if there's a Zelda skin on the game because I'm not a Zelda
Yeah.
fan. So it's the kind of thing where I feel like, okay, that's another game for people who like Zelda.
Yeah. Definitely.
Um, Xenoblade Chronicles X is one that I think it's at least a move in the right direction. Not for me. I don't really have any interest in that game, but
Yeah.
it looks great. I mean, it's kind of, if you're a fan of like kind of mechs and things like that, it looks like it's going to be an awesome game for you. I'm just not. So it's the kind of thing like that game actually does have the ability to probably draw a few people in, but the thing with it is like it's not drawing me in specifically. So since I'm
Yeah.
giving my opinion, I'm saying like it doesn't really do anything for me. So great game for Nintendo, but yeah, I just don't care.
Yeah. That'll be a day one for me. Definitely.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are really excited for that, and I'm not like down on them for being excited for it. It's just not the type of kind of setting I enjoy for a game. That's about it. I mean, there was what else was there? Oh, Bayonetta 2 they showed briefly.
Yeah, and they said that they're going to include Bayonetta 1.
Yeah,
Uh,
but they neglected to mention that it's a download.
oh, well, I've already got it, so
Yeah, I mean I've
that
already got
doesn't
it too, so
trouble me. The second one does look really cool. I mean, it looks great, you know,
yeah,
definitely.
that's probably out of everything they showed, was probably the best thing they showed, for me at least.
Yeah. They what did they tease a new Star Fox as well?
Yeah, they didn't really, not in the thing, but it got revealed in Time Magazine. It's coming. It's not like they had to ignore it. They did, but they
Okay.
showed pictures of Miyamoto playing it in the magazine, so it's
Right.
coming. For
I'm also really happy that they finally announced that we're getting Professor, what is it, Phoenix Wright versus Professor Layton or whatever.
Yeah, that was another thing about the Nintendo conference was that there was like nothing for the 3DS. Like, what did they talk about for the 3DS?
The one thing that they showed that I'm completely buying day one was Fantasy Life.
Ah, okay.
Fantasy Life. That it almost looks like a little spin-off to Nino Kuni. Like
It's
obviously the
been out
whole.
here for like 2 years, I think.
Oh wow.
It's
So
pretty old.
yeah, so that's totally a buzzkill for me then. So no, it looks really good. Like a lot of these games that we talk about. I'm like, oh Joe, man, I'm super pumped up for. I just got Mine Zero on the Vita. You're like, oh, it's been out here for a while. Hey, how's Demon Gate? It's been out here for a while. So a lot of this stuff, I actually like go to your channel to see your opinion on it before I even buy it. So where Fantasy Life is super exciting to me, I thought it looked really really good. It's already been out there for years, so I mean, it's
Yeah,
not
well,
exciting
like
to
it's
you.
been out for long enough for there to be like an updated version of it. Like there was Fantasy Life came out, and then there was like Fantasy Life, um, something else. Like the G version where it adds extra stuff. So like
Okay.
it's been out that long enough to have that. I'm not actually exactly sure how long it's been out, but probably like a year and a half or almost 2 years, I'd say.
It's getting back to what you said. It if you look at the original DS and the amount of third-party support and awesome games that came out for that, the Nintendo 3DS is really kind of tapered off in terms of big, big third-party awesome games. I mean, we've gotten quite a few, but it just seems like there's not really an awful lot of like big third-party development, like big titles coming.
Yeah, it's weird because like there's not an awful lot that's upcoming on the 3DS either. Like I can't really think of anything that's coming soon. And for you
No,
guys, I can only think of Persona Q, which I'm already halfway finished with.
right.
So it's kind of
Yeah.
like the kind of that's coming for you guys, but it's already I'll be long done with it by the time you guys get it. And after that, I have almost nothing I'm looking forward to on the 3DS. Maybe Devil Survivor 2 Break Record, but that's like not even we're not even sure when that's coming.
Yeah, I noticed that it's kind of tapered off a little bit, it seems.
Yeah, it's weird because like the system is doing really well, and I really like the 3DS. It's just it does seem like there's less announcements for it as of late.
Definitely. No, nowhere near the Nintendo DS
Yeah,
in terms of like,
it's nowhere near that, but you can't really expect it to be because the 3DS was I mean the DS was like a phenomena.
yeah, that's true. That's true. So Nintendo, I'm trying to think of anything else that,
Splatoon, that one.
you know, that looked, I have to say, man, that looked really interesting to me. It's like something that's totally Japanese, a human and a squid. Like, who would think of that? You know what I mean? Like, I thought it looked really cool, in terms of playing with buddies and you're trying to coat the world in paint, and then when you coat your areas, you can kind of like turn into your squid and like swim underneath it and move faster. And when you get to the enemy's paint, it slows you down. And there's a lot of cool ideas in that, man. I must say it looks pretty interesting to me,
No,
for
I'll
sure.
agree with that actually. When I saw the preview of it, I thought, oh, it looks really cool. I mean, it looks really nice, like it's bright and colorful, and the concept is really cool. But it's again, it's like Xenoblade Chronicles X in the sense that like it's not something I want to play. It's the kind of thing where like the concept is cool and it looks great, but it's not the kind of game like I don't want to play like an online arena shooter. And
Yeah,
then that's essentially what
yeah.
it is, despite all of the cool mechanics for it and stuff. It's just like a with maybe 4-on-4 arena shooter with color mechanics.
Yeah, I would have much preferred that concept like been used for like an epic single player adventure, where you could use the paint to reach other areas and I don't know if it'd work, necessarily, but I would have much rather a game like that than like a multiplayer. I understand why they're doing it. It's kind of a genre that the Wii U definitely needs more of. I get why they're doing it and it fits their vision, but I would have loved to have seen that in like a single player concept.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think it looks like a game that, like, if you were, looking for a kind of arena shooter type battle game, like, you could play online, that
Yeah.
would be a good choice. I think a lot better than, some of the games on other consoles. But it's the kind of thing where I just don't care. It's just not the kind of game I like.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess, like, what I wanted to talk about was that, like, while I was watching this, we came to the end, and they're like showing the long, like, Lady Palutena from in Super Smash Brothers final video, and, like,
Yeah.
someone messaged me, like, hey, they're showing Devil's Third on IGN right now, and I was like, oh, well, I'm gonna go to IGN because who cares about Smash Brothers? And I went over to IGN, and Itagaki is there talking about Devil's Third, and Itagaki is the guy who made what's it called, Ninja Gaiden,
Hmm.
and he's been working on Devil's Third for years. It was like they lost their publisher or whatever. It was THQ, so you know the game was not being published anymore, so they need a new publisher. And they're showing this
Hmm.
awesome looking game on IGN, and then, like, they drop the bombshell that it's a Wii U exclusive, and, like, that game is,
Wow.
like, crazy hype looking. Like, it's got this online multiplayer that looks absolutely insane. Like, you got realistic looking giant cat heads on with watermelon armor and stuff on your characters. It's, like, crazy. And then, like, the single player story seems like the world is being kind of taken over by the New World Order or something, and you have to fight. It's really cool sounding, and it looked really nice. They showed all this kind of cool action for it, and then it's like Wii U exclusive, right at the end of the Wii U, like, Nintendo's actual conference. And I thought, like, when I saw that, I was like, fucking IGN just beat Nintendo at showing an interesting Wii U exclusives. What the hell is that?
Yeah, yeah, no shit.
It was ridiculous. I was like, I'm just gobsmacked over here. Like, what the hell is going on? Is what I was thinking.
Yeah, no shit, man. What's up with that? The same website that's freaking posting untrue rumors is gonna break a game like that. About the last they fuck up the Last Guardian and they reveal a game like that. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it was just bizarre. Like, it, it, I don't know, man. Like, it just, I have, like, I had so low expectations for the Nintendo thing. I was like, if they announce anything that I'm interested in, like, or just, like, some stuff I'm mildly interested in, or, just give some information on stuff they already announced, like, that would be awesome. But nothing. It was just nothing for me. It was just like a string of games, like, I have zero interest in.
Yeah, and to be honest, man, growing up, I was kind of like against Nintendo. I didn't see why they were selling better than Sega towards the end there. I mean, at first they weren't. Sega was winning, but towards the end there, it bothered me, man, because I didn't think that Nintendo games were good. I didn't like them, and I don't know, man. It seems like after I got this Wii U, I'm kind of opening up to them a little more. Like I see that Nintendo, they really do make a different. They make different kinds of games, man. They kind of take gaming back to a more simple time, and they take it back to the kind of original, fresh ideas. But I wonder when these ideas are going to become fresh again, man. Like, can't they do a new character with the same amount of passion as Mario? I mean, granted, it's going to take years and years for a lot of people see Mario through nostalgia and all that, but I know they can create a new character that could stand toe to toe with him, or another. Like I want to see this magic that they have towards something new, man. I get that people love Smash Brothers and Yoshi and Star Fox and all this stuff, but when does I don't think Pikmin is good enough, man. Pikmin, people like it and it's cool, but
Yeah, but keep in mind, Pikmin came out on the GameCube. That's like 2 generations ago.
yeah, but that's like the newest. That's like the newest thing. I don't understand. Like I think the move to HD because like I picked up the new Mario Kart and I'm not really super into Mario Kart. I've always like I preferred Sonic All-Star Racing as my go-to kart racer. But I thought I'd give Mario Kart a chance because it's really hyped up and I thought it looked beautiful. And I'm looking at the character roster selection screen and I can't even really find a character that I have any passion to play as. I guess I have to choose Mario or I'm looking at all these other like guys that are I guess they're Bowser's henchmen or something, but the whole roster to me is pretty much pointless, man.
Yeah, that's the kind of like. See, I'm almost the opposite of that because when I was a kid, I had you know, the I had a Nintendo, I had a Super Nintendo, I had all of that stuff. The first console I bought for in the PlayStation 2 era there, whatever generation that is, was the GameCube. I got a
Hmm.
GameCube before I got a PlayStation 2. I got a Wii before I got an Xbox 360 and a PlayStation 3.
Hmm.
It's the kind of thing where like I'm not against Nintendo. I just think like they don't they haven't grown up with me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not. I'm not like
Yeah.
that's not to say like, oh, Nintendo is a kiddie, but it's to say that like I have changed and Nintendo has not. So it's the kind
Yeah.
of thing where you know I guess I could play the 600th version of Mario again, but and I'm saying that like people are like probably thinking, well, you never played any new Mario's. Well, like I have a Wii U. I came with Mario. I played Mario. I just didn't enjoy it. It's not fun. And I
Yeah.
did like those games when I was younger. I just don't anymore.
Yeah, it's funny. I saw like some things on Twitter. Somebody was saying like, "Oh man, Uncharted, I'm gonna walk around and Drake's gonna shoot dudes and steal gems. Whoop-dee." Like, but yet here he is excited for a Mario Maker. It's like I don't care that you like Nintendo, that's cool, dude, but don't sit there and put down something that other people like, when it has the same rules that apply to your game that you're pimping. You know what I mean? Like I don't get the way Nintendo fans do that shit. They're so quick to point out that all anybody ever does is fling shit at Nintendo, but they do the same exact thing and try to justify Nintendo games being something different than what they're dogging, and it doesn't fly with me, man.
Yeah,
If you're gonna call like PlayStation 3 games, oh, it's too brown and gray and gritty and blah blah blah, and then sit there and hype up your 15th Mario game in 2 years. Don't. It just annoys me, man. It really does.
yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I don't begrudge anybody liking a Nintendo game. I don't really care if other people like Nintendo games, but I mean, don't pretend that Nintendo isn't like just lazily milking their point. Like, another Smash Brothers is like not gonna do anything for someone who's not a fan of Smash Brothers already. And another Zelda, as popular as the series is not gonna convince someone who's not a Zelda fan to buy a Wii U.
No, no, it's not. It's not. So overall, who would you say had the most interesting conference for you personally?
Um, okay, in terms of games overall, um, in terms of stuff I'm interested in, it's almost gonna I'm gonna have to go with Microsoft. It they had the most stuff I was interested in, and they showed some other stuff that we didn't even talk about that I was interested in. Like they showed a bunch of indie games, and one especially Cuphead, which I was really excited about. Um,
Yeah.
but they showed that, and they showed a lot of they came out swinging. They showed exactly what they showed that they were gonna put a variety of exclusives out. They showed they were putting a bunch of stuff out that was interesting. They even showed some Connect stuff that was interesting. That's like, it's the kind of thing where like I don't even own an Xbox One. It's the only system I don't own at this point, and I think like Microsoft kind of knocked it out of the park there. A for
Yeah,
effort for Microsoft. And
yeah.
and Sony, like the problem with Sony was that, like, again, they showed some awesome stuff. Like in terms of like the exclusives that they showed, I'm more excited for Bloodborne than anything. And Grim
Hmm.
Fandango, double thumbs up for that. But they did seem to focus on like all this weird stuff that like was not interesting to me. Extra levels on the Sony platform, lots of DLC, lots of stuff that like okay, but why is this in your conference here? It's not like super big news. It's just kind of like these kind of add-on morsels that could have been announced later.
Yeah, I agree. I'd have to say for me, Sony. Sony took the spot for me just because I've got a lot of stuff. The Journey guys making a new game is huge. Uncharted 4 to me is huge. The Order, I can't wait for that. The Ratchet remake. I mean, for me, with Microsoft being a close second, and
I see like if I if I like the Uncharted series, I'd probably be excited for Uncharted. I don't, so that's kind of like the biggest announcement they had there was Uncharted. I was just kind of like, ho hum, who cares? And that's like, and the thing is like if we had to rate all of the things together, I would just kind of be like, I would go probably Microsoft, Sony, Ubisoft, EA, Nintendo, and it's it's the kind of thing where like, man, um, I couldn't even fathom how like unexciting, just like not exciting Nintendo's would be.
yeah, Nintendo is not going to pull new people in with that presentation. If you're a Nintendo fan, you're probably in heaven right now, and I'm happy for you. It's you got some good looking stuff coming for you. That's it's your thing. Nintendo's your thing. That's you've got some great stuff to play. I've got a few games that I'm interested in too from Nintendo as well. But I really wanted to see something new, and I really didn't get it. So that's where I'm at with that.
So what would you rank the how would you rank the conferences in order? I guess.
I'd probably go a tie with Sony and Ubisoft. Uh, Same thing with Microsoft and EA. Um, and then probably Nintendo. You know, Probably Nintendo and last. But like, yeah, I don't want to make it think that I'm like Nintendo's not like a distant last or anything. I think that what they did with what they have was pretty respectable. I'm really excited for that new Zelda. I really enjoy Zelda games, and I think that's if they can pull that off, which they've never really made like a horrible Zelda game. I think it'll be amazing. The new RPG looks amazing. The Fantasy Life looks great. Um, the Hyrule Warriors, I'm excited for. It's just like the Toad game and the Yoshi game and the Mario Maker and the figures that I'm not really crazy about. But overall, I think it was an exciting time to be a gamer all around. I mean, they showed so much great stuff for sure. Just great stuff all around.
Yeah, I think if we can take anything away from E3 this year is that 2015 is going to have a lot of awesome stuff coming.
Oh shit, yeah, definitely, definitely, man.
Mm,
And it's getting to be pretty late here for me. It's getting to be about 3 o'clock in the morning, guys. So we're gonna wrap this up. I got to be up in about 4 hours for work, which is never fun. But I just wanted to mention real quick. I'm playing a game, Murdered Soul Suspect, and it got pretty mediocre reviews, but I'm enjoying the shit out of that game. I had a problem with it the first night. I sat down with my wife, and she's not really into gaming like hardcore, but she will sometimes things pique her interest, and for her, like the whole Salem setting, the Salem witch hunt setting of Murdered really had her interested. So we went and picked that game up, and we played about 3 hours of it together. And we had just gotten past like the first investigation, and I saved it, and I went to go out of the apartment, and the game crashed. And not only did it crash, it deleted it. Like it said, my save file has been corrupted. So I lost like 3 hours of gameplay, which really pissed me off. That's never happened to me before, man, to where I've lost something like that. But those 3 hours, man, we were like riveted to the TV. I think it's an original game. It kind of mixes elements of LA Noir with really cool storytelling, and Good voice acting, man. I'm really enjoying Murdered Soul Suspect. That's a really cool game. Did that come out in Japan, Joe?
Yeah. Oh wait, I don't think it's out yet. Maybe it is. I don't know. There was like no advertisement for that game though, so it might be out. It might not be out. I don't remember. I don't-
Yeah, that's. I just wanted to put that out there. I'm really enjoying that. And another one I'm really enjoying. I'm playing through Mind Zero on the Vita. And I tell you what, man. What's his name? Leo. Like the voice acting in that game, he is like a really genuinely funny character, man. He's the guy that like half of his arm turned into a demon arm.
Oh, okay.
He's like a really funny guy. He's making me laugh, and I think that game, like, for a game that came out of nowhere and had like no hype at all for over here, and like no, there wasn't even a review out for it the day it came out, or even a week after. And man, that game, I'm really enjoying the storytelling and the script and the voice work. Really good game.
So doesn't the script in that game, like the way that the storytelling happens in the game, remind you of Tales of?
It does, man. There's almost like skits back and forth, and
Yeah, it's
it's
exactly like
it's
Tales of. There's like it's like you go to the thing and then there's like a Tales of style skit and then it just ends and then you're back to the dungeons. It's
Yeah, and it's told so well that it gives you something to look forward to, the interaction and dialogue. I'm really enjoying it.
yeah, I think I liked that game and it gets lazy sometimes though. So like some of the dungeons are look spectacular. Like some of you'll be like, "Wow, this is gorgeous." And then you'll just be like, "This is the laziest dungeon I've ever seen in my life."
Oh yeah, yeah. In terms of actual gameplay, the dungeon crawling, like you said, some of it can get pretty mind-numbing. The battles are a little, it's a standard dungeon crawler. Nothing spectacular in that department. But in terms of the script and voice acting, I'm really enjoying the story that it's telling. Really good stuff, man. Definitely.
Yeah, it's actually developed by the same people who did Class of Heroes.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
it's similar in game style to that in the actual dungeon
Okay.
crawling.
Okay.
Yeah, but
And I also pre-ordered the Danganronpa 2, which is looks really cool. I that's like to me that game is approaching levels of 999 greatness. I thought that was such a well done game. So I'm really happy to have that special edition. And I also pre-ordered that Final Fantasy Theater Rhythm Curtain Call.
the rhythm game.
Yeah, I'm taking a chance with Digital River once again, but it looks like it's supposed to be limited to 5,000 copies, so we'll see on that if that's really what it is or not.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I've just been playing Persona Q recently. I mean I finished a bunch of games recently, but I already talked about them on my channel. So like after that, I've just been playing Persona Q pretty much exclusively. And yeah, like next month there's so much new stuff coming that it's kind of like I gotta finish it.
Did you end up picking up Bound by Flame at all or
I
no?
haven't gotten it yet.
Okay. I'm really enjoying that too, man. Like um it's a game with some serious challenge, great battle system. The storyline is like freaking hilarious, man. It's kind of like almost like juvenile dialogue, with the swearing and like some of the things that the characters say. But I'm really enjoying the whole concept and the setting and storyline. I think that's another game that, I find myself more and more disenchanted with modern video game journalism and reviews.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think like a lot of the times, a review is generally just somebody's opinion about the game, and like when I, I make videos on YouTube, and so do you, and we watch videos on YouTube. So like you kind of get to know the people on YouTube, like what they like and what they don't like, and if they like things like you like things. So it's much easier to get reviews that are like accurate to how the game will be off of people on YouTube than it is to get them from like some reviewer on IGN or whatever.
Definitely. That's why I like your channel so much because you get these games that come out on the Vita and things of that nature months before we get them. So I was on there watching your Mind Zero review, and I believe did you do Demon Gaze? You did, didn't you?
Yeah,
Yeah, I watched that one as well, and it's nice to be able to have, I know you're tasting games and I know that I trust your opinion, so it's nice to hear about it before I get the game and I trust your opinion more than somebody I don't know. And these guys that just get paid, they're under a deadline. I have no idea in what atmosphere they're playing the game. And, an IGN so-called professional reviewer that got in a fight with his wife and maybe his car broke down on the way to work and then he's reviewing a game pissed off. I don't know what factors influenced that score, or whatever events might have happened, what state of mind he's in.
Yeah, but like the kind of thing with that is like professional reviewers are like being paid to review the game, and like generally, I think like somebody they get the games to review, and somebody's got to review them. So you could be getting a reviewer who is stuck with the game he doesn't want to play, or a game he has no interest in, and that will affect the score.
Definitely. When gaming becomes a job, it kind of scares me when it's their opinion. You know what I mean?
So yeah, I guess we should wrap it up since it's pretty late for you.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's not going to be a fun day at work tomorrow, but it was worth it to, get on here and talk E3 and share opinions and, get some conversation going. Definitely enjoyable.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll get a lot of angry Nintendo fans in the comments.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. But as promised, the podcast is on schedule, and moving forward, I'm pretty confident that we're going to keep this thing pretty close to the chest and keep moving and putting out content for sure.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get stuff going.
So it was a good time. Everybody, take it easy. Joe, take it easy, man. Have a good one.
All right, I guess this is the end, so we will talk to you guys next time.
Talk to you next time.